You start talking. That'd be actually, that's the point of a podcast. I think we should be talking.
Yes, but do I want to sound like I am in one of those movies where I'm dubbed? Yes, I could.
Mm-hmm. You sound like Speed Racer's dad and Speed Racers.
Oh, yes. Speed. You must watch out for.
Hey, Pop, I'm gonna go race down Volcano Mountain.
Yes, we need to watch out for Racer X.
No,
Chim, stop it. Chum.
Stop
it, Chim.
Hiding in the trunk, Chim and Spritle.
That's the other guy's name. That's the other kid's name. That's the kid's name.
I loved Speed Racer as a kid. Used to watch it on Channel 44, and then after the show was over, I'd run outside and run around on my big wheel.
Yes.
That was 2 weeks ago. No, actually, it was about...
Hey, did you ever see the live-action Speed Racer movie?
No, I could not. It would ruin my childhood.
I've
heard good things about it.
It's interesting. I mean, as long as you understand from the get-go, it's
a total suspension of disbelief, obviously.
I will say, like...
I heard it was well done as an individual piece, but no, I just... Too fond of memories of the original cartoon as a young child.
I will say that there are points where I was like, man, I wish I had some good drugs. Or I was drunk.
Yeah, this would have been, I think it looks, because of the visuals, it looks good for shrooms, I think.
Yeah, there's like some coloration.
Yeah, it's very colory, yes.
I was like, wow, so many colors. Or you know what? Don't get a lot of sleep. Do that sleep deprivation thing and watch it and be like, wow, colors.
Lack of REM sleep. It's a prerequisite for the live-action Speed Racer film.
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So is it okay for a heterosexual man to wish another man a happy Valentine's Day?
I guess so.
Okay, all right, well.
I'm not sure.
Here we are.
Yes.
Episode 184, Welcome to Squares Roundtable Podcast. And with me is Jeff.
Hello.
And I'm Mike. Here we are doing the thing, as we do our groovy thing. Yeah, Ivan will be along shortly, I presume.
Yeah, I would be shy. You know, It was funny. When we talked about this, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be available. I'm like,
okay.
Are you sure about this?
Okay, showtime.
No, I mean, I even thought about it at the time when he said, oh, I'm going to be able to be here. I'm like,
no, I'm sure she's
really?
I'm sure she's cooking him a nice steak dinner and feeding him chocolates on the couch. So.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, I was like kind of thinking about this, and I'm like, are you sure you're going to really be able to do this? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, okay. Well, he's already 5 minutes late, so.
Got it. No, I mean, I just laugh because it's like, I mean, I'll be impressed. If he shows up, he shows up. But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's like, girlfriend.
It's all right. On Valentine's Day?
You guys on a podcast. Yeah.
On Valentine's Day, yeah, we'll see. Well,
exactly.
Ivan's excuse is, well, every day is Valentine's Day for me and my girlfriend. Yeah, man. So, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. We got plenty of content to discuss this week, whether or not Ivan arrives or not.
I love when guys try to pull that off who have women in their lives. And it's like, oh, every day is Valentine's Day. Uh-huh. You try that. See how it goes.
See how well that goes over.
See how well that goes.
By 7 p.m. that night, we'll see how every day is just Valentine's Day to her, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see how that plays out.
Well, we'll see. I mean, so
I get it.
Yeah. So how was your week, Ben?
For the most part, I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, it's been kind of weird because it's like, usually in February we get a lot of TV because it's usually sweeps, and so like the networks start trotting out some good shit, to watch, and it's like because of like the Olympics, it's like nobody's trotting anything out. Like everybody's like waiting until like March when the Olympics are like over. I'm like, okay, I guess. It's kind of weird.
Well, there's still your regular programming.
Well, no, even like the network stuff is like a lot of network stuff right now is in reruns. There isn't a lot of stuff like live. I mean, there are some things, that are coming out on the streaming services, but, other than that, it's been kind of a quiet little bit for the networks, especially, I just think they feel like, okay, Olympics, are we really going to compete with that? Then combined with Super Bowl, it's like, okay, we're not competing we're going to wait a month or something. I don't know. Or I don't know how to put it, I don't know how to, obviously.
Everything of note you watched this week?
Yeah, so here's good news. In the Pam and Tommy thing, there is no the talking penis has not returned.
Oh, okay. How many episodes we have the talking penis?
One out of the four.
Just the first episode, or which one is it?
I can't remember if it's
it was
the
first or second episode where
it's one of the it's either, I think it's the second episode where we get the talking penis.
Okay.
But so far the talking penis has not returned.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. So they're doing it as a weekly release. So I'm enjoying it. It's well written. It's well done. The actors do a pretty good job. I do kind of laugh because it's like, based on the way they're telling us, it's like, apparently Tommy and Pam did not realize that this safe had left their house for like months.
The safe that contained the sex video.
Yeah, and all that other, like, there's other stuff in there. There's like,
well, I mean, they lead busy lives. They just thought. Yeah,
but at some point, somebody should have been like, hey, we're missing this. You'd think at some point, like, they would somebody, and like, we're not talking about like a week or two. We're talking about like months. Like, months supposedly go by. And then like Tommy like goes to put like the sonogram picture in the safe, and like suddenly he's like, hey, where's the safe? And I'm like, yeah. It's interesting. Like I said, it's what really makes this show work is Seth Rogen is very good, and they tell a lot of it from the perspective of him, the guy who stole the tape. Don't get me wrong, we do get.
And he was what? He was what? A disgruntled roadie or an employee of his?
The story goes like this, which is he was doing work on Tommy and Pam's place, and Tommy, the way that they make it sound, Tommy Lee essentially kept changing his mind all the time to the point where, like, they were like deep in their own pockets for money, and Tommy just kept changing his mind on stuff. Well, apparently at one point, Seth Rogen's character accidentally walks into the kitchen, and Pam's wearing like practically nothing, and Tommy goes nuts and fires the both of them. And so, he's like, I'm not paying you guys. And then on top of it, the guy forgets his tools there and tries to go back in to go get them, and Tommy practically threatens to shoot him. So, like, he's like, screw it, I'm going back there, I'm going to get something. So apparently he
walked out with the safe. Right.
He walked out with the safe.
Because we're presuming there's, like, tons of cash in it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, in the movie, there's, like, a boatload of other stuff in there that he's able to... And by the way, some of it's stuff is, like, stuff like I wouldn't say... I mean, I'm not sitting there saying, like, there were, like, gold records or stuff like that in there, but stuff that's, like, you'd think that, like, you'd notice it was missing, or somebody would go, hey, I found this at a pawn shop or something, like, you know what I mean? And yet, no. There was that kind of stuff. There was a bunch of cash. There was a lot of guns. You get the idea. And so essentially he was able to sell off all that stuff. And then he happened to find the tape. And apparently at one point he briefly was dating. So the guy was dating somebody who was in porn. So he knew the right people to go look at the high 8 tape. And so to be able to play the high 8 tape. And
it was 8mm. It wasn't videotape.
Right, it was a high 8.
Okay.
And so the other guy, who was like a low-level porn producer, was like, hey, wait a minute, we can make some money on this. And then they realized nobody's going to be able to buy it because we're going to get sued because we don't have releases. And then they realized, oh, well, we can put it on the internet because the internet was brand new at
the
the time.
internet
It's
was,
like nobody.
It was early to mid 90s, right?
Right. So they're like, oh, I'm sorry. That's the best scene. That's the best scene in episode 4 is Pam and Tommy have to try to figure out how to get on the internet.
Find out how to log into the internet.
Well, my favorite part of it is, so they are wearing, like, trying to be inconspicuous, wearing, like, sunglasses and hats and, like, trying to be inconspicuous as they, like, go to the library to go log on to the internet to go take a look at this thing. And it's kind of funny. It's hilarious because it's like, we need to figure out how to do this. And and they're wearing stuff that would, like, totally be, like, people would be like, if they weren't, like, paying attention, it'd be like, why are those people? Oh, wait, who was up? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're drawing attention to themselves, right?
Right, and it was just really funny because they like had to sneak into a library and learn how to do it. But yeah, so yeah, that's been good.
Good.
Peacemaker, again, you're not watching at this point. But
what episode are we on? 7 or 6?
We just finished 7.
Okay.
And you know, there's definitely. So I will say this: one of the characters on the team dies.
Okay.
One of the characters on the team dies, and it's interesting because I can't remember how many episodes this thing is, but we're going on episode 8, and we're about to. I think it seems like this is getting closer to the finish line, and yet the irony is, I think there's 13 episodes in this. 13,
wow.
I think, I could be wrong. I don't know the episode count number on it. But, you know, the one thing I would say is, again, Cena sells the whole thing.
Yeah, he's great in it. I agree.
And, you know, this week was kind of the big fight between him and his dad. So that was
the White Dragon, right.
Yeah, and complete in, like, the KKK version of Iron Man suit. That's just the best way to put it, is the KKK Iron Man suit.
Okay.
I mean, it's got similar abilities and powers and shit. It's like, okay, it looks like as if, you know, Iron Man was a part of the KKK. That's what it would look like. You know. But yeah, I thought
it's powered by white power.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, and then what else? I caught, because technically it was free off of Peacock, and it was the holiday weekend, so I watched that "Marry Me" thing with J-Lo and
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
You know, and Sarah Silverman's in it too. It is what it is. You know, I mean, it's not. You know, I mean, it's not. You know, it's not like, oh my God, you have to see it. But it was entertaining, and you know,
it was a rom-com in the.
Right. You know. I will say, Owen Wilson. The chemistry between J-Lo and Owen Wilson really worked pretty well. So I liked that, and it was pretty good. The other thing is, so this weekend Netflix debuted Inventing Anna, and I don't know if you remember, there was a story a few years back about a 25-year-old woman who infiltrated, like, New York society and financial, and like pretended to be like a socialite, and pretty much like almost got like a multi-million-dollar loan and all this other stuff. Like, she had totally like fleeced everybody into like believing like she was like somebody when she was nobody. I don't know if you remember that story at all or not.
No, I don't.
It was a big deal at the time, and so they've done like a fictionalized. So Shonda Rhimes has done like a fictionalized version of it, and it's about 9 episodes. And I will tell you that the episodes, a short episode for this thing is like 58 minutes. The 9th episode is like almost an hour and a half. You know, if you like Shonda Rhimes stuff, you're going to enjoy this. And, you know, the nice thing about Shonda Rhimes is she's able, because she's Shonda Rhimes, she's able to get solid actors, people who are good at what they do. And it's interesting because they do it from, they're basically looking at it from the perspective of the reporter who basically wrote the original story on the inside track of what happened. And so they've kind of got it from her perspective, and we kind of get to know and get to learn about all this. And again, it's a solid. I will say this: the headache I have with it is, it was really, really good, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I will say.
Oh, Jeff, I lost you. I've lost you there for a second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Repeat. Go your last sentence.
So the last episode it was like almost 90 minutes, and
right.
It just, they didn't stick the landing. It didn't stick the landing. That's just the best way I can put it. Is it just felt like it kind of ended, and I was kind of like, okay, there was some other parts of it where I'm like, hey, I don't understand where we're going here. You know, again, overall, pretty good show and entertaining. Definitely worth watching. So there's that. And then obviously, so for Super Bowl, I had pulled out like this steak I was going to make for the evening. And then I pulled it out from we got it like from like Kansas City Steak, and it was supposed to, it needed to thaw out. And then I go and I have it thaw out, and I go and check the plate, and it's in a package, and there's blood all over the plate. And I'm like, oh, God, that means there's probably a leak or some bullshit. So that ended that. I ended up like just basically doing like microwave pizza dinner.
Oh.
And I'm like,
so just maybe just the intermuscular juices were just too like,
I don't know. All of a sudden, like, and the funny part is the bag wasn't open. Like, all of a sudden, it just seemed there was an opening somewhere in the bag or something, and this stuff started to seep out. And I'm like, it's really funny because I'm like, I'm about to cook the other stuff, and I had cooked up a whole bunch of vegetables, and so we had the vegetables. I put some rice in there, and then we did like some cheeses and peanuts and stuff like that. But it was really frustrating because I'm like
your heart set on steak.
We had this really nice like filet mignon steak that we had that I was going to cook up, and I'm like, fucking son of a bitch. So yeah, I mean I don't know. That's kind of my week for the most part. I mean, I don't know. What do you got going on? Did you get a chance to watch the game, or?
I watched the game. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. I said this was the weekend I worked, so I got home I got home and ate dinner just before kickoff. But then by the end of the first quarter, I'm like, I need some snacks. I'm watching football. I'm watching the Super Bowl. I want to make some snacks. And earlier in the week, I had thought about making my jalapeno poppers, but it was just me. So I had like 12 of them. It lasted me all week, and by the end of the week, they're not good, when you're reheated. So I had some, grabbed some pretzels and chips and my favorite Pepsi. So now this was my busy weekend. So yeah, it was. We had a slow day Sunday, but I had a frame.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it was slow. Just the cold weather, and it's the Super Bowl. Everyone's buying groceries. If people got parties, but I did have one customer today. This made my month. This phone call. Where she asked if we sell wind chimes. I said, yes, we do. I said, do you know the keys of the wind chime? I mean, like, do you mean the notes? You mean like the notes it makes? I was like, yeah. Well, obviously, the bigger the wind chime, the deeper the tones are going to be. I was like, do you know what? Well, if I buy a certain wind chime, do you know what key is going to be in? Like, no, I no. What? Oh God.
You're kidding me.
No, she wanted to know the notes of the wind chimes. Like,
tell her like
I play the guitar like 3 minutes a year. At Christmas, that's it. I don't know what key. So like I cannot answer your question. The company who makes them cannot answer your question.
Tell her it's the key where like it makes you poop.
That's the brown note. Yeah.
Yeah, the brown note. That's what it is.
brown note wind chimes here for sale at the hardware store. No, crazy. So that I put a pin in that. I was like, that's gonna be my phone call of the month. I think maybe the quarter of the year. But speaking of quarters, yes, I did. We had just a guess the score of the game at work. So I won.
All right, how much do it?
It was just a $20 gift certificate.
Whoa.
But they said guess the score of the game. I guessed 28-17, and the score was 23-20. So total, you add the points up. I was off by 5 or 3 or something like that.
Okay.
So I won a $20 gift card. Neat, cool. Because we usually do squares, and we didn't do that this year. It's like you pay $5 a square, and then it's $1.25 a quarter. But we didn't do that this year. So, but nevertheless, I did watch the Super Bowl, and that was the most football I've watched in 2 years, I think. At least a full game I missed maybe the first up until the first commercial break after kickoff. Right, the game had started. I just finishing up dinner right at kickoff. So by the time I was plopped down in front of the TV by the first commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good game. Wasn't a blowout. It was good competition. It wasn't one-sided at all. It was it's very entertaining for a match of the sports ball.
The sports ball.
Yes. The thing. Do the thing. Move the thing to the other thing. My favorite sports team will do the sports.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a solid game. I don't know about you. I can't, there's a lot of people like, oh, I like that commercial. Oh, I like this commercial. And I gotta be honest, to me, really in reality, I don't know that there was any one commercial I was really like, oh my God, that was great.
No, they didn't knock them out of the park. There were a couple of them I got a good chuckle out of, and I'm like, what the hell was that? What the hell was the commercial? It seemed like 60 seconds, but it might have been 30. But it was just a screensaver of a QR code.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not getting up out of my seat to scan that thing. No, I'm not. Out of principle, I wasn't going to do it.
So the amusing part to me is it depends. This is an example of a commercial where it depends on your age. Mm-hmm. Certain people were like, "Oh, I scanned it," and my understanding is when there were enough people that tried to scan it that it crashed their website. And my understanding was it was supposed to give you. There might have been it was either one of those NFT or crypto things.
Oh,
and I think it gave you something. I think it gave you a free one or something. Now, for the rest of us who were just sat there
saying, "What the hell is this?"
We're like, "What the fuck, really?"
That was me. Yeah, you kids and your QR codes and you're burning that bread.
Yeah, I
was just got more grumpy as the thing kept bouncing around on my screen. I was just getting angrier. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I want to know what it is, but I'm not doing it.
I will say, it is kind of funny. It's like I sit there and say nothing really stood out, but the irony is, as much as we sit there and go, what kind of bullshit is this? That is the one commercial that stood out over all of them. Just because it was annoying as hell.
The only other commercial that made me angry was the Silverado commercial with the Sopranos. And it was very well done. It was shot for shot, like almost the entire opening credits, the original series. But like anything, it was, pretty much all the 90% of the Super Bowl commercials were either an electric car, Bitcoin, or seltzer water of some kind.
Oh, the hard seltzer.
Yeah, any seltzer or hard water. Even they had one that was non-alcoholic where you see kids drinking it. It was what's the movie that was that? It was called Liquid Death. And it was they had 80s parties music playing, and then they had young kids drinking it, and then a pregnant woman drinking it. And I was like, oh, then we're like, okay, yeah, obviously it's not alcoholic. It's not just a joke because you can't have. I think there's a law where you can't have commercial where you're drinking alcoholic beverages in your commercial. I learned that in a media class in high school. But anyway, the Sopranos commercial made me angry because I was like, is this a reboot? Is this a trailer for a new series? Well, it was just Jamie Lynn Sigler,
yeah.
like, paying homage to, and then she hugs the two look almost exactly the same as they did almost 20 years ago. I mean, they both look good. They both look the same. And it's neat that they kind of paid homage to James and the Sopranos and the fans. And of course, the internet is arguing, oh, it's still better than Many Saints of Newark.
No.
No.
That's not true.
No, I know. But it was just still, I think it was 30 or 60 second commercial for that. But, okay, you have your electric pickup truck. Okay. But I did like the one with the Toyota commercial with the Joneses. I liked that one. That was funny. Because I like, Tom Jones' song in it, and Tommy Lee, and Leslie Jones, and then Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers.
Yeah, I was just saying, are you a friend of the Jonas
brothers? Jonas?
Yeah.
And then Tommy Lee says something to the effect of, we'll race you whoever you are. But I was okay. I like that one. But not all the ones were either like 80s classic music, animals, your typical fare.
I did think the one for like the mortgage thing with the Barbie thing wasn't bad.
Yeah, the Rocket Mortgage with Barbie's Dream House.
Yeah, with the Barbie Dream House thing. That wasn't bad either.
And Castle Grayskull at the end. Yeah, of course the little toys.
That was...
For a toy geek in me was shrieking. Yes, that was.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I did like
that. Was okay. The flippers and the fixer-uppers and I like that.
And there was that one with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen.
Was that the Lay's potato chips commercial where she's he marries the demon girl?
The demon or zombie girl. I mean, there are some ones. It just was like I just felt like. It's funny because when I sat there and said, well, none of them stood out. Well, except
well, now you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like they were, at the time when I was watching them, it just kind of felt like they were there. I don't know that there was any one that I really was like, oh, yeah, that totally was head and shoulders. I think that's part of it. Some
of them you don't know what the hell they were.
Yeah.
That's the common problem with a lot of Super Bowl commercials. Well, they'll try and dazzle you with visuals or celebrities or whatever, and then at the end they're like, what was that for?
Yeah.
I had a lot of that, too. But there was a lot of flotsam
The Disney one was bad.
The one with the goats?
Yeah.
Yeah, the goats. Where all the goats are dressed like Star Wars and Marvel people?
Yeah.
Dumb. I didn't like the one. I didn't like the, was it the electric BMW with Selma Hayek and Arnold in it?
Yeah.
Where it's Zeus. She's Zeus and Hera or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy, start my golf cart. I'm tired of this place. To go bang my housekeeper. No, I didn't care for that one either.
I go bang my sister Aphrodite.
Yeah, Zeus got around, man. He was quite the horn dog.
Yeah.
I would learn that from the
I bang Aphrodite. It's in Kentucky.
Send the lightning bolts. Move to Palm Beach. Other ones. What was that? Oh, that Michelob Ultra one with like the bowling alley with Eli Manning, and it's like, why don't you just have this? Like, is this they're doing like the Lebowski kind of vibe to it?
You know what commercial was good?
No.
The one with the NFL one. The one with all the characters.
The video game characters pop out of the screen?
Yeah. And at the end, they got one time for one. And I gotta say, this is where tore at the heartstrings. Where it was like, it's like, we got one more play. We're going to run it with Peyton.
Yeah,
Peyton Manning's like,
Peyton.
Oh, yeah, okay. And it's like, no.
Walter Payton.
Peyton. And I was like, oh, you, okay. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me. You guys got me. All right. I got the feel.
Super Bowl Shuffle.
There you go.
The Super Bowl Shuffle was.
I thought that one was really solid too, but it was they did it at a weird time. That was the other thing too. It was like right. I remember why it was.
This was like either the third or fourth quarter when they ran.
No, you know what it was. It was It was either right before or right after halftime.
Oh.
Was when they ran that. So everybody was busy like buzzing about, like, the halftime show. And that's why I laughed, because it's like Ivan's not here, and I would have been curious to get his take on.
I would presume that Ivan did not watch the Super Bowl. That's just me.
Maybe.
Well,
I guess not.
Well, maybe. Well, you say he did. Maybe I say he probably didn't. So we'll see who wins when Ivan pops in. If Ivan pops in tonight, I presume he will.
I'm gonna put money on the. I bet he doesn't pop in. If he's not here by now, he's not popping in. I just laugh because we had this conversation like. Maybe
in the chat last week. Oh do we record on Valentine's Day? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I'll be there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
sure,
man.
Totally. I don't like.
Okay. That almost definitely means that I won't be here.
That's what we should have realized. As soon as we said that, it was like,
yeah, he's not.
So it's gonna be like Mike and I. It's just that's just gonna be Mike and me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just kind of laugh.
Before we get into the trailers, any other Super Bowl commercials of mention? No, do you want to go there? Or do you the hot Cheetos or the animals doing the beatboxing? That's all right.
Do we want to go there, or we want to talk about halftime?
My dad met my boss at work. He had to do some conference in Vegas, and he met the guy who invented hot Cheetos.
Really?
He was a guy at the Frito-Lay factory. He was a janitor, and
of course he was.
He kept showing up to work. He kept asking people questions and moving up he moved up the company, and eventually he created Hot Cheetos, and now he's like doing inspirational public speaking in Vegas. So good on him. But my boss met the guy who invented Hot Cheetos. But now that the commercials stuck out. But we'll get into when you're ready. We'll get into the trailers.
Yeah, so the only other thing I would mention is, before we get to the trailers, is, so obviously, look, there's a portion of the country that, man, it is just so funny. You can basically, the halftime show this year was pretty much about demographics in terms of some having to do with age, some having to do with race. I thought my mom's comment was most telling. You'll get a kick out of this. She's like, "Oh, I like the fact that they weren't all naked, shaking their booty all over the place on TV." And it's kind of funny because it is true. As much as it's like we expect.
They had all the dancers. None of the dancers were dressed somewhat classy, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and so to me. Here's the thing that I thought was interesting about it was we talked about it for a couple weeks. Like, okay, what's this
leading up to
like?
this? Yeah, what's gonna?
Yeah, and seriously, to me, the one thing I would say about the entire thing is they really toned it down for the NFL. I mean, they really toned it down. I mean, I expected. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was good. What was good was good, but. I mean, when I think about rap and hip-hop and all that, I mean, I'm expecting, how do I say? I mean, like, they had the low-rise.
Flavorful lyrics?
Well, not even that. Just a lot more flash, a lot more bling. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's fun.
This was kind of like a house party kind of vibe or a block party kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because it's like they had the lowriders. And, like, for example, I was like, they had lowriders, and yet I'm like, oh, they're going to ride out on the lowriders, right? Nope.
No, they didn't want to damage the field, maybe.
Yeah, like they didn't want to, there's a perfect example where it's like, it would have been cool if they had rode out in them, like rode out or rode in on them to begin with.
Doing
to start
burnouts, like digging into the dirt.
Well, they didn't even need to do burnouts.
I know.
Like basically, like a slow drive where they like do the bounce thing that they do, like with those things.
Yeah, it still probably would have risked damage to the field. Yeah, and see like one of the quarterbacks tripping over one of the potholes from the halftime show.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but they could have covered that.
Well, they did have like a surface put down, obviously for all this stuff.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent was doing his Luke Skywalker in the Wampa Cave.
Yeah, boy. Look, I'm not going to sit there and bag on what 50 50 got a little. 50 looks like more like $1.50 right now. And you know, he looked a little bit he looked a lot beefier than, and part of it is, you know, you're gonna wear a skin tight white tank top like that, then, you know, you gotta be careful. You look like an encased sausage a little bit. So, you know, as a big guy, these are things you understand. And then at some point, he probably should have looked at it and went, yeah, I should. And I get it. That's what he wore when he did it in the video, and that's what they're trying to copy. But at some point, you go either A, I need a looser tank top, or B, you know, maybe it's not a tank top, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Across their chest.
Yeah, but not even that. Just in terms of how slick it was, the framings, the costumes, the sets, all the stuff that they did. I mean, like, even like, for example, like, I don't know if you noticed it, like when they're doing some of the dancing, when they did the aerial views, they were basically dancing on a map of LA.
Okay.
I don't know if you
I didn't catch that.
No, right.
Well, obviously, I remember when, what was it? I think it was Snoop Dogg said West Side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, like I said, and that was interesting too, because it was like you'd climb around, and it's just the only thing that would have been annoying to me is
half the stadium didn't get a good view.
Right, unless they were watching the screens. And in fairness, as long as the music was good, I was surprised that Eminem only got one song.
Yeah, I thought he had gotten at least, two, but he had his one. And yes, I was singing the Weird Al lyrics as he was singing.
I know the big controversy is the fact that apparently Eminem took a knee.
He took a knee for about a full minute.
For a full minute, and then...
It didn't even occur to me. I was like, what happened to Eminem? He's got a headache or something. He's holding his head.
It didn't really...
I thought it was because the Tupac song started. That's why he took the knee.
I thought... I didn't even catch what it fully was either, because I'm not. I hate to say it, Kendrick. I can listen to rap, but I'm usually pretty good. But Kendrick Lamar was going so fast. I'm like, wait, what? What did he say? But overall, I'm not going to sit there and say it was the best ever, which I've heard a lot of people say.
Yeah, I think the one lady, I was like, what was it? One of the NFL commentators before it started said this is bound to be one of the best ones of all time. Like, that's a conceit. Maybe.
I will put it up as one of the best.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones.
Years overdue. I mean, really, seriously, this is 20 to 30 years overdue. This should have happened in the early 2000s.
Well, we can be thankful it happened, or now rather than later.
But I do laugh because
or never.
I saw some people whose reactions is, I can't, all that kind of stuff. It's like, you know how many halftime shows I just like, man, it's like there is other stuff out there once in a while that we could do that would be cool, and it's basically shut off that whole genre, and it's like, it's nice that now we've got it. I mean, like, it was funny. I made the point. I'm like, okay, if this door has been opened, okay, who's next? Who's the next people that you could use that if you wanted to go this route, you could. And, you know, the names that immediately come to mind, you know, if it depends on how safe you want to be. If you're really going safe, what about Will Smith? You know, because you know that he would probably. Service, you know, there's Kanye.
Oh yeah, speaking of Kanye, he was in the stands.
Yeah.
Wearing a full mask, like a ninja warrior suit or something.
Mm.
But, one of those like fab. As they kept that on most of the game, but anyway, yeah, this was one of the better. It wasn't terrible. It was, you know, and this is not my bag. Not my cup of tea. This kind of music, but it was still good. It was good, entertaining. I liked it.
Yeah, like I said, I think
because the last few years they've had younger artists. You know, they've had like Katy Perry and Bruno Mars and The Weeknd.
Well, yeah, last year was The Weeknd.
Yeah,
and my favorite part about The Weeknd was, like, unless you were. That is, I'm like, yeah, I've heard his stuff before. It's not bad. And people are like, but you're in your late 40s, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard his stuff before. Like, a lot of people I know who are like, it just, you know, for some of us. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up about this. Man, fucking millennials think they fucking own everything. Like, I swear to God, if I see one, like, there's this post out there about how, you know, this is our music. Fuck you. No, it's not.
It was your mom's music.
Dude, no. That is Gen X music, baby.
Yep.
Like, I remember being in college, you know, and it was either, you were either listening to alternative or you were listening to West Coast gangsta. You were listening to the East Coast, West Coast war, and all that stuff. I mean, that's, you know, we're taught that's Gen X right there. And yet I see millennials sitting
late
there
90s, early 2000s.
Because he was closer to that point where he would, you know, because he was fighting it out with the people you were listening to, like the Britney Spearses and the Justin Timberlakes and all those guys. Okay, but stop trying to claim people who aren't you. But yeah, I like I said, the biggest thing I'm curious about is it looked like Dre had a board up there, like he was trying to control stuff, and it's like, I'm curious he really had control of stuff.
Hear the words, and they didn't have the mics close enough to their mouth. So I presume it was all pre-recorded just for the sake of putting on a good show in case, you know, there's some technical issues. But it was still good.
Well, I know. Well, I'll tell you this: Mary J was definitely live.
Okay.
I mean, she knocked it out of the park. And it was funny. Certain people were like, "Well, why?" Had been produced by Dr. Dre at some point or another. So you know, that was the connection between all of it. And again, the biggest thing is you can tell that this was something that this whole halftime show has Dr. Dre's fingerprints all over it, and he wanted to produce something that people wouldn't forget, and he knew He knew that it couldn't be, okay, we roll out there in the low riders that are bouncing up and down, and we can't, and no, we have to be careful about some of the words, and no.
Smoking weed on stage, yeah.
On a halftime.
Yes, that's the wardrobe malfunction. Is all the bags of weed fall out of Snoop Dogg's uniform. His costume.
Yeah, there were some interesting prop bets too about like what would be the first song, what would be this person's first song, that kind of thing.
Who would go on first? Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Who's on first, so to speak?
Yeah, there were those prop bets that were out there if you wanted them, but. So yeah, no.
Anything else about the halftime show? We can move on.
No, I think I've covered a lot of it. Like I said, I'm kind of bummed Ivan wasn't here because, to talk about, I'll talk a little bit about it because it's like one of those where it's like I'd be curious to see what his take was, but you're probably right. He probably was like, oh yeah, man, I didn't really watch that. I was doing this instead. It was like, okay.
I don't think he was DJing last night.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Unless he was DJing at Super Bowl party. I mean, that'd be the only thing I could think of. So, okay,
so the trailer for the Moon Knight series, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm still not super excited about it yet because I don't have an emotional connection to this character. But I'm gonna watch it. It looks interesting, and Oscar Isaac is a good actor, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Again. This is not a book I've ever read. I know bits and pieces about Moon Knight, and I don't remember everything. I just know that there's an interesting backstory, and I don't remember how much I remember from the comics is the problem. And it sounds like they're going to try to do it justice. I mean, it's not to say they haven't taken shots with other characters, but this is a little bit different than anything that they've done on Disney Plus. And if they can nail this show, then we're really talking here. I'm enjoying the Kid Cudi music too, which I know you don't know who that is, but
I don't.
That Day and Night song that they keep playing. So
yeah, I'll watch it. It looks interesting, and it's still tied into the MCU, so...
Yeah, we got enough... What was interesting was we got more looks at Moon Knight, and the first time we saw it in the trailer, there were some people who were like, I don't know. And I saw a few more looks at it, and I was like, no, I think it'll work. I think that's the biggest question is can they make the costume and the look,
or the powers
right?
that he has. I mean, they're like... Is it like, does he it's almost seems like the Shadow, where it's like he's helping people imagine shit or something. I mean, is this all real, or is like some mystical, or?
So there's an element of Moon Knight where, again, my problem with Moon Knight is that, again, this is not a character I've read enough about.
Right, I don't know all of his array of powers, right.
Well, the way that I've always heard him described is he's kind of got that MCU Batman feel to him. But the difference is, in some regards, the difference is that there's something about having to do with ancient Egypt and again, I don't remember. My problem is again, the biggest thing about Moon Knight has always been to me is like, oh, cool costume, or he always looks interesting looking, and so to me it makes sense. I'm kind of, I guess I'm gonna have to read up more on him. I don't know nearly enough about him, but I've always been intrigued enough to be like, I hate to say it, I think the problem has always been, it'd be interesting to read. Oh, Moon Knight, yeah. Oh, wait, there's a Spider-Man book.
There were other things that caught your interest that were
right.
You were invested
you only have
in.
so much, right. It's like I only got a certain amount of money here to buy stuff.
Yeah.
I think I think I'm.
If someone recommended you the book or borrowed you the book for free, then you'd be more inclined. But this one's
right.
This one, you want to stick to what you know you're going to like.
Right, and again, I've always seen interesting stuff that he looks like an intriguing character. I just don't know nearly enough about him. But the trailers, I'm interested enough. I will definitely watch it. So,
yeah.
I'll be honest. I see everybody breaking this Doctor Strange trailer down like a fucking Zapruder film.
Yeah, every frame of every still shot. Like when they released the poster, and there was like trying to construct the faces of all the fragmented faces in the shattered window of the surrounding the. And this might be just all like 1 second cameos.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know.
But 2 stills images have leaked of a zombie version of Doctor Strange that'll play obviously to the what if, and also an alternate costume where he was one of the Defenders, I think, where the gray stripe in his hair is more pronounced. It's more of like a superhero-y kind of costume and not so much of a cloak. But the still images, they're out there. But the Doctor Strange trailer, was obviously the shot heard around the world was Patrick Stewart's voice. Yeah, of course, and it's just the one line. So it could be just all that. It'd be just like 1 line or 2. And that's all that. And that's going to tie into the multiverse, which means ultimate different possibilities and outcomes and alternate worlds where the X-Men are there, and of course with the Fox acquisition, now they can do it proper. Because we know this movie was in the works before the Fox purchase.
Right. So the thing to me about all of this is there's a lot of assumption that who Strange is being brought to is the Illuminati, and I can at least talk to this because I know enough about this, which is, so there's a group of heroes that at some point all came together, and they were kind of a secret. They were kind of like a
super
secret,
brainy club, like Tony Stark,
exactly.
Reed Richards,
the guy from the Inhumans, Professor X, Namor. I can't remember who else is in there.
And I'm surprised since, Endgame was, 2019, 2018, that we still haven't... They teased Namor in Endgame, and we haven't gotten anything else from that.
My understanding is we may see him... There's a lot of talk that we may see him in the second Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
That
would make sense, because that's where they had voiced their concern of the ocean thing.
Right.
It's an earthquake under the ocean. We don't do anything because we don't do it, or something like that. Yeah, anyway, so the Illuminati might be what's bringing Strange together, because he's having, apparently, according to the trailer, he has this nightmare, and it's ripping the multiverse apart as a result of...
like he's going to trial or something.
Right. It's like the time police or something like that,
Right, they think it's the Illuminati. I don't think it is. I think it's... I don't know.
Some other nebulous kind of meeting, or some other meeting of the minds.
What it is at this point. Or something else. Who knows?
He broke the rules with the whole Spider-Man thing, so... It's gonna...
the things we do know are... We do know that America Chavez is in it.
Yep.
We see her in it.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that Wanda's in it. We see her in it.
That was in the Spider-Man. We knew that.
No, well, but we also saw her here, too.
Yeah, obviously she's in the trailer, yeah.
We see the thing that... We see what looks like him being escorted in by, what looks like like Ultrons, except they're a different look. Kind of like an Ultron-looking robot.
So it could be some kind of what-if tie-in, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. Again... the other thing is that there is a scene where apparently Scarlet Witch is fighting somebody, and people think it's either Monica Rambeau or who knows who else it could be. I don't know.
But then there seems like there might be some tension there between Wanda and Steven. So
as there should be. There should be tension between the two of them. She's 100% right in the comment that she makes, which is like, if I did this, everybody would be going
villain.
Nuts.
You do it, you're the hero, right?
Yeah, you're the hero.
Right.
So there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
And she's got a point. She's not wrong.
No.
So
that was awesome. I don't know how much, because I just caught the word that the whole trailer is on YouTube, so I ran to YouTube, but then I sent the text to you, but I didn't catch it on. I think maybe the shorter version of the trailer aired before kickoff. So I didn't see it on TV.
There was a shorter version, and they said go.
Yeah, see the full trailer online.
See the whole trailer online, kind of thing.
Yeah. So Doctor Strange, that's coming in May. Oh, I did buy my tickets to see Batman, so I'm fully vested in the Batmans.
Yeah, I guess that is coming up.
Like 2 weeks from Friday.
Is it really? Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to see. Maybe. I'll have to see. I gotta see. After the last time, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can figure it out.
What was the last? Well, after Spider-Man, but I mean, after Doctor, what was it? Yeah, Spider-Man. What was it last? Let me see. I saw it was like.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
I saw it twice in the theater. Yeah, I saw it twice that weekend.
After the Pack Peter thing with Spider-Man, I'm just like, maybe not. No, but I don't know. We'll see. So I mean, there's that, and then
we got the Amazon Lord of the Rings series that's coming.
It's really funny. I had no interest in watching that until I saw the trailer.
Really?
Until I saw the trailer. Lord of the Rings.
Well, The Hobbit was underwhelming.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not one of those people. I mean, look, Lord of the Rings was good, but I'm not one of those people where it was like, oh, Lord of the Rings. I'm like, whatever.
Well, I could give a crap about Harry Potter, and I never watched Game of Thrones, but I've watched every Hobbit movie or every Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings stuff in that universe film I've watched in the theater.
I just didn't. I honestly, it's funny. I enjoyed the Potter movies far more than I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, I do laugh. I think Jay and Silent Bob nails it when he basically says,
"That's the Lord of the Rings is just walking."
It's three movies of walking to drop a ring in a volcano.
Right.
You know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
So this series will take place before the rings were forged.
Is that what the deal is?
Yes, this will take place before. Maybe the series finale will be leading up to the Great Battle of Sauron. That's the idea. I think that's the premise. Why
do they all do that?
This is a big prequel series.
Why do they always do? That's always my question. Why is it when you have a choice between we could move forward or we're going to go backward and do a prequel, we always end up going backward to do a prequel?
Because it harkens back to familiar territory. Even J.J. Abrams admitted that The Force Awakens was just too familiar.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's just sticking to what works. So that's what the prequels. That's what this prequel series is, and I think there might be some. Tolkien might have written some appendices or some books or some pamphlets or who knows, cocktail napkins of what Tolkien imagined what life was like in Middle Earth before the rings were forged.
I guess. Again, I don't know.
But now you're interested. Now you want to watch it based on what you've seen from these characters.
Yeah, well, not from the characters. Just I was like, wow, that looks really pretty impressive.
Well, some of it looked like a video game. First, I thought it might have been a video game trailer. Then I saw on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon bought a lot of time. Of course, being the biggest company on the planet. Yeah, they did buy a lot of time here for the Super Bowl and plugging their Lord of the Rings series. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. So.
Well, we're going to see, because it's funny because, a lot of football, I think the NFL football contracts are in negotiation at this point, and there's a lot of talk that Amazon wants in.
Oh, yeah, Thursday Night Football is going to be on Amazon.
Right, and there's talk
this 2022 season.
There's talk that DirecTV might lose their package, and that it might all move to Amazon instead. Which, forgive me, there's a part of me where like, I don't have DirecTV, but I do have Amazon. If you're going to tell me that I can watch any game I want on Amazon, okay.
I have a family member who has an Amazon account, so I have access to it. So.
Well, I mean, it was funny because as somebody who lives out of market, the closest I could get without having DirecTV was Red Zone. Otherwise,
Red Zone. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, have you ever seen Red Zone?
No.
Oh God, Red Zone is football on crack. Red Zone is football on crack. It really is.
It's like even more extreme than the XFL.
So basically, they take you. The best way to put it is, like in the NC2A tournament, when they like would zoom you around between game to game to game when the game got good, or when things got interesting. That's kind of Red Zone. Is, oh hey, we got this amazing play. We're going to show you this. Boom. All right, now we're going to go to this game. Boom. Imagine like an entire day of that. Where basically that's all they did all day. Was they went from game to game to game to game and showed you everything. That was cool. Kind of cool. But, if Amazon gets that package, it'll be interesting.
What else did we have?
So did DC put that stuff on TV, or is it just that they put out a...
Oh, just no. They had it on. They did have a multi-trailer, like a teaser for 2022.
Right.
Batman, Black Adam, Flash, and Aquaman.
Yeah.
That's their 2022 lineup. Rebuilding the DCEU.
Well, it's interesting. Well, here's the thing: that Batman movie's not supposed to be part of that.
Nope.
Whereas the
other three will have ties to the original DCEU.
Right, are supposed to have ties to all that.
Right.
Now, although it's funny, isn't Pattinson supposed to be in The Flash?
We know Keaton is in it. We don't know if Pattinson
I know Affleck is.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be his last performance as Bruce Wayne. Right,
but I don't know. I thought Pattinson's in it too.
There might be,
but I could be wrong.
Because we're all about with Flashpoint. We're all about everyone be like, DC's copying Spider-Man-verse thing.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to look like.
I think my headache with Flashpoint is, man, DC. No, my headache with Flashpoint is
that should have been their immediate reset, and from the backlash to just the Justice League release.
It's not. Okay, so as somebody who remembers Flashpoint in the comics, they used that as an excuse to reset everything to go into the new 52.
Right.
Which wasn't that great.
No.
And then
you're right about that.
And then they've started to use it, like they used it on the Flash on TV to reset things. And so to me, everybody's like, oh, Flashpoint. And I'm like, oh, great, reset. That's like, you're just using that as a reset. That's basically all. And by the way, the irony of Flashpoint was, it wasn't supposed to reset the entire DC universe, but it turned into resetting the entire DC universe because at the time, they needed to do a reset, so they used it as that. And so now it becomes a convenient story. And the sad part is, what was great about Flashpoint are all the stories that took place within Flashpoint that don't get told. Like, the Thomas Wayne Batman thing. Yep. Or the war, I think there was a war between
the Atlanteans and the Amazons. Yeah,
and the Amazons.
Yeah, they did. They did do an animated DC verse about Flashpoint.
Right.
And they kind of used that after the Dark Side thing to reset. To use it as DC's using it as a reset button.
Yeah. So so to me it's funny because at least in the animated version that you're telling me, at least there they seem to do it right. Whereas in the Flash TV series, that none of that other stuff happens, and I'm going to guess none of that this other shit will happen in the Flashpoint movie. And again, I don't know. I just don't feel like DC's done enough to get certain parts of the fandom to buy into some of this crazy shit that they're doing, that they're trying to do, that they think is going to work. You know, it reminds me of like, you know, there's the story of in 2008 when Marvel was first doing Iron Man, and you know, initially the bad guy was supposed to be the Mandarin.
Yeah, that was the big. That was the idea when the first Iron Man came out with Robert Downey Jr.
Right, that was the idea. It was supposed to be the Mandarin, and
then the second one we got whipped.
For him, and you know, honestly, they sat down and realized it's like we're asking audiences who don't know enough about superhero stuff to buy into a bunch of stuff that I'm not sure they're going to buy into.
Right, and this was the logical choice for an origin story for Iron Man.
Right, so they
Obadiah,
Right, they stuck to that, and in fairness, it's a classic story. It's from right after Iron Man gets back from being an alcoholic and is taking back the company from Stain, and they do have this big fight, and it was in the original Iron Man 200, and I know this because I owned it at one point, which now makes me old. But I remember reading it as a kid back when it happened, and of course they used it to debut some new Iron Man armor on top of it. That was the armor where he was like the white and the red armor that they briefly used for a while.
It sounds a little bit like the Ku Klux Klan armor to me.
No, not really. Well, now that I look back on it, it could have looked like that.
White and red.
Maybe that's why they went away from that
a little
armor.
bit, yeah.
Maybe that's why they went away from that armor.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like kind of clanny. Okay. Especially
or it's
with
too
that
medical,
helmet.
like white and red is like kind of like a medical kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was the trailer that happened, and
yeah, and then I know you're not a Jurassic series person, so that trailer.
I did watch the trailer, and yeah, it's great. We're getting Sam Neill. They found him under wherever he was.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern, who's looking, well, we're getting old just like everyone else, and Jeff Goldblum as Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that like everybody else is.
I saw the first Jurassic World. I didn't see the second one, and I don't plan to see this one. You've seen one Jurassic Park movie, you've seen them all.
The second Jurassic World movie was okay. It wasn't great.
You mean the second half of the film was just in like some warehouse or something? It wasn't Jurassic Warehouse or something. Well,
again, I don't want to give too much away of it, but yeah, I mean, essentially, what'll be interesting. What I'm curious about is they've sort of set up this other storyline about the company that was involved in all this.
Right, at the beginning, right, that made the first Jurassic Park, the old man. Right.
Well, that the company he worked with or I don't know if he owns it or if he works with them, and they have their own ideas and their own designs, and that becomes clear obviously in the first Jurassic World, and then even more clear in the second with you know, and now, I mean, I think I can, obviously you saw it in the trailer that essentially the dinosaurs are loose where there are men now, and so yeah, now there's a problem, and you know, God bless men, they always are willing to make fucking problems.
Yes, mankind makes me want to vomit. So the immoral ones are the ones that are most likely to die.
No, you know, well, we'll see about that. I do laugh because, like, every day I see stories that I'm like, yeah, it's really clear that people just don't want to, like, they all sit there and, like, laugh when I sit there and say stuff like Skynet, Matrix, like, Jurassic Park, and everybody's like, oh, those are movies. It's like, okay, why do we keep inching closer to doing things that they did in movies that you guys keep wanting to put out there in the world? And it's like
Elon Musk wants to put a chip in our brain. I'm like, no, that's how you get the Matrix.
It's like, hey, let's
have cars that drive themselves. No, that's how you get Skynet.
It's like, hey, let's, like, see if we can, like, what we could do with, like, dinosaur No. What are you thinking? Stop it. Just stop. Please stop. And they don't want to. They all think, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the white people in a horror film.
Yeah, the scientists who are like...
Where it's like, oh, let's investigate and fuck. It's like, fuck that.
Let's get out of here. Let's
seriously.
Let's I'm out of here so long.
I really want to, like, explain to people who are black, it's like, not all white people are this dumb. Not all white people are dumb enough to
it's like, the Eddie Murphy skit where, like, if Poltergeist was a movie with black people, it wouldn't be 5 minutes. Like, what a great house and kids playing in a yard. Oh, a beautiful TV. Yeah, get out. Too bad we can't stay.
Yeah, well, like, Scary Movie, like, takes that to the next degree where literally it's like the white people are like, hey, let's split up. And
yeah, speaking of that, we did get a trailer for this new Jordan Peele movie called Nope.
Yeah, my reaction is nope.
Nah, I didn't see, what was that last one he did? Where it was with the doppelganger family of his?
I don't know.
And then before that was Get Out. Where it's like, it's got a budget. It's got some. Trailer for that, though.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, he has his appeal. He has his audience.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I'm it. So.
Yeah.
But speaking of appeal and audience, I guess we can get to Book of Boba Fett.
1 out of 5 stars. No books whatsoever. So, the Book of Boba Fett trailer or the finale to Book of Boba Fett. We don't know if there's going to be a second season or is it going to play directly into the Mandalorian season 3, which is. Mm-hmm. But I think they're done filming that. So I think it's like the end of the year we'll get season 3.
Yeah, or beginning of the year or something like that.
We'll get Boba Fett, or we get Boba Fett's done. At least his story is done until he gets a cameo in one episode of The Mandalorian, maybe because that. I was hoping that. One last thing about the trailers, I was hoping for an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, and we didn't get that for. And that's cool that they're releasing it on May 25th, the 45th anniversary of the release of New Hope.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they're not releasing it on May 4th. Because May the 4th be with you. Nope. They're releasing Kenobi on May 25th on Disney+. So that'll probably be after Moon Knight comes out in March, right?
I don't no idea. They said TBA. They're not. That's what I'm confused
what's
about.
Coming? Yeah, I thought Moon Knight comes in March.
I have no idea. This is what I'm talking about. It's like this is what I was like looking at. I'm like, okay, Boba Fett's over. What's next? I don't know. What do you mean I don't know?
Yeah,
like the only thing that's technically listed is is Obi-Wan, and that's like the end of May.
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
May
like,
25th, yeah.
But why would you put the Moon Knight trailer on if it's not coming up anytime soon? And it's like, but I haven't heard a date for Moon Knight at all, like an official date. There wasn't even one on the trailer that they showed for the Super Bowl. It was like they didn't say; they just said coming soon. They didn't say when. You'd think that they'd have a date by now. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of weird because it's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, we really gonna go like 2 months without any sort of Star Wars or Marvel programming?
Yeah, it just says coming in 2022.
Yeah,
so they must still be working on it.
Well, and that's like I said, that's weird. And by the way, that's the other thing. At some point, are we gonna get crossover where it's like, yeah, there is a Marvel show
and a Star Wars show playing at the same time?
At the same time, or is this just going to be...
And Disney be all like, don't bet on it, ha!
Right, exactly. Or is this going to be an alternating thing? Because if that's really where they're going with this, it's kind of bullshit.
It's a slow drip.
It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
it's like
justifies the $80 a year.
Right, and it's starting to get to that point where I'm thinking about that too, where it's like, you know, because really, all right, I'm buying it for. I mean, once in a while they have other stuff, but I gotta say, one of the headaches to me about Disney Plus is it's not like there's a ton of other programming.
No, not a lot of original programming. Oh, they did release. I haven't watched it yet, but they did release like a making of special of Hawkeye. I do plan to watch it because I enjoyed Hawkeye somewhat, so I'll catch that. I did watch that Behind the Helmet, which was like the feature about the history of Boba Fett and where he came from or whatnot. They talked about one guy.
I know they're doing like the Mighty Ducks series, and they're doing a couple things like that. But,
yeah.
I mean, there's no...
But aside from the big tentpole Star Wars and Marvel, I don't give a crap about most of their content.
Well, and the interesting part is it's like, okay, some of these shows are like really, how do I put this? It's like, okay, they're really family, and it's like, that's great. The headache I'm having is, okay, I'm not looking for that. It's like, for example, it's like, okay, you technically have the rights to the Grey's Anatomy library. Couldn't you do that on Disney Plus? You know, that kind of thing. It's like, no, not really. It's like, okay, that seems strange. You know, not that I want to watch Grey's Anatomy, but you get the idea. Where it's like, I understand that it's okay, you're pushing more towards kids, but not really if you're trying to get adults off of the superhero stuff and the Star Wars stuff. And it's like, how about some other programming that adults might like?
Well, then that has to go to Hulu if it's adult content. Either that or you take a portion of Disney Plus and you adult lock it. Because I think, like, Moon Knight is going to be TV-14. Where people thought it was going to be a little more dark, a little more bloody. And, of course, we'll get into the Netflix news, too. But anyway, we're talking about Boba Fett, the finale to the Book of Boba Fett. And it certainly was. And of course, I was up at 5 a.m. because I'm like, I'm not going the whole day without knowing what happens. And so I was up 5 in the morning, and I was worried home again. Is Disney Plus going to crash? Well, it didn't. So
can I just start with one thing?
Uh-huh.
Fuck you to every website that
all these
had
rumor
it
mills,
yeah. About that was like so sure we were getting a Harrison Ford Han Solo cameo.
Yeah, like that scene was cut. It was edited out for time. And that seems a little bullshit.
No way.
They would not have paid that much money.
Yeah, no way.
For all the budget that went into the 2 Mando episodes.
Yeah,
we're not gonna.
No, you're not cutting the scenes with Harrison Ford. Are you fucking crazy? No. No way.
So, yeah, there was a rumor that we were going to get them to see Millennium Falcon and Han Solo, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, and by the way...
would not have made sense. I'm like, how do you shoehorn that in?
I don't know, but based on what I saw, I don't know. But there's a part of me where it's like, this is bullshit. Yeah, okay, and the worst part is, we're not just talking about like a couple of sites here or there. We're like talking about a lot of solid geek sites.
Yeah.
That were all like, oh yeah, we're getting it.
And we didn't get it.
And we didn't get it. It's
so,
like,
oh well.
Well, yeah, but it's like, okay, there's a bunch of people who are like, we're excited. We're going to get Harrison Ford. This is going to be great. And instead, we get bullshit. We don't get it.
We didn't even get Luke. With the X-Wing flies in, like, all right, yeah, he's joining the battle. Yeah. And the cockpit's empty. It's just Grogu in it.
Right,
R2 flew the X-Wing to drop him off.
Yeah, and R2's like, can I get the fuck out of here now, please?
Yeah. Need to get back
literally,
to... Yeah.
You know, I don't want to stay. I don't care. I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, and he had to have left right away, because as soon as Grogu was out, like, really, he must have left, because it's like, he's not around for, like, the battle sequence.
Yeah, all the shit's going down, and, well, of course, you know, they're in Mos Eisley, so the mechanic chick has to drive Grogu all the way to, I don't know how far Mos Espa is from Mos Eisley, like I should care. Right, like I should actually. It's like please don't email us or text me saying how far it is. I have a map of Tatooine.
I got a map.
I have a map of Tatooine on here on my Wikipedia page. So anyway, yeah, R2 is like here and gone. I'm like, oh great, no more Luke. We wanted him to join the battle. It would have been a short battle though if Luke was there. So. Truth be told, it would have been a short showdown. So the big showdown with the Pikes. And the mods suggest they set up in the ruins of Sanctuary, pretty much standing on Jessica Biel's charred body. And like, aw. Yeah, they did her wrong, man. They did her dirty.
What a feeling.
That would have been my job. So that and they could not afford Jabba's palace. It would have been, I guess it wouldn't. Like they said, you know, we'll defend our city. Okay, let's wreck it here instead of out in the middle of nowhere. So they get the Cad Bane shows up. We almost get a showdown, which was pretty cool. I like that tension. Moving in. And it's cool that it was revealed that the speeder bike gang it was a setup. That the Pikes killed the Tusken settlement, not the speeder bikes, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then that was I think that was Fennec Shand called that. It's like I don't think they were killed by speeder bikes, and that was just it was dismissed. It was thrown out, but the Pikes were the ones that perpetrated that. Mm-hmm. So we get a cool showdown with Cad Bane, and then we get a bunch of extras who show up. And I was like...
the Freetown folks.
It's Freetown. Now the Freetown folks show up once all the Pikes show up, and we get Mando. It's like a gunfight at the OK Corral. They're going to go out with honor. This is the way. And then the Freetown folks show up, but no, Cobb Vanth isn't there. He dead. That's what the dude said. Gunned him down in cold blood. That's what I think the dude said when he said, I'm sorry about the marshal. But we know the deputy, he done. But that was the post-credit scene was that, Cobb Vanth, he's getting fixed. And so from his, because, you know, if you do the freeze frame, he just got shot in the shoulder from Cad Bane. So we get the big showdown and then the droids. Did we see these droids in episode 2? These type of droids?
No, similar, but not
okay,
exactly
this is not the exact same droids we saw in Attack of the Clones.
Similar.
Okay.
Similar, but similar concept, but a little bit different. They are much bigger.
Okay.
And they have a lot more firepower, and all I'm sitting there going is, I need a few of these to play my Star Wars roleplay game. I could use a couple of these.
They weren't very good shots, to be honest, though.
Yeah, you don't need good shots if you basically are big enough to, I mean, in fairness, those things could probably go... I would think that those things could go toe-to-toe with a chicken walker.
An ATST?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're that big.
They got all you need is one good shot, and those things. It's just a box with legs.
I mean, and they got shields. It's like, geez,
Yep.
it's like, okay. I would think that, you know.
Yeah, why
after
the prequels, we didn't see any more droids with shields. Like, you know, they couldn't afford them to show them in the original trilogy.
Again, keep in mind, you know, there's the other side of it too, which is, you know, shields. I hate to say it, the Empire's reaction is,
we don't need shields.
We don't need shields. We got thousands of these.
That's right. Yeah, that's why their armor is made of plastic. The armor does nothing.
Yeah, like, seriously.
Like Boba Fett. Remember when first saw Boba Fett when he was smacking those stormtroopers like a bunch of bitches?
Yeah.
And just their armor's splintering like cardboard.
Yeah. Well, again,
with a gaffy stick.
I mean, that's kind of why we always, you know, that's always been the joke about it. Is like, don't they need shielding? That's thousands of them. Who cares?
Yeah, that's probably the Empire's mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so we get the big fight with
but here's the thing, Mike. Whereas the Pikes have the kind of money where it's like, hey, we can invest in these things,
right?
And
for
we
potency,
have them,
right?
And then we don't have to bring in our big giant army.
Send a droid, right?
Right.
So
which also explains the other thing, they're coming with their big giant army, but they didn't have a big giant army.
They just had a bunch of extras. It was just a bunch of, you know, the newbie little lizard people. Oh, yeah, the cool scene. That was the cool scene, though, with the negotiator guy. They drag him out. And like, oh, yeah, he dead. He gonna be dead. That was funny, where they said, nothing. Boba Fett, my tear returns my surrender. Nothing. Like, oh, that poor dude. That sucks that he died and Jessica Biel. He didn't die. Jessica Biel died. Or, I mean, Jennifer Beals died. Was it obvious to you when Boba Fett said, I'll be right back, that he was going to get the Rancor? Because it wasn't for me. Yes, that was, Of course, the smart thing would have just hop into your starship and just blast them from the sky, but we knew he wanted to ride it because that was a line.
Yeah, seriously.
I thought we were going to get Danny Trejo again just to bring the Rancor. Instead, they had to go all the way back to his palace and all the way to Mos Espa to bring the Rancor because we knew that was going to happen.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, again, I just thought maybe we'd get another surprise in there somewhere other than that, but when he showed up, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
And that was cool. Most of the effects in that were cool, like with the Rancor just being being all monster movie kind of shit, you know? Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that angle.
It was funny because I was like, I knew that Grogu was basically going to be able to like control the Rancor. Yeah, I mean, it was just such a fucking obvious thing.
No, I didn't call that, but I knew Grogu was going to wreck one of the droids, as he did in typical fashion, saving Mando like he did with the Mudhorn. And we had a nice little reunion, a nice little moment there as they're running from the droid, where she's like, she pulls the blanket out. Oh, like, guess who I brought with me? And that was nice that he jumped into Mando's arms. Like, oh, that was so endearing. You know. But yeah, I did call the fact that, the Grogu was going to use the Force and crush one of the droids.
Yeah, like I said, so...
No, he pulled one, he pulled one of the bolts out. I think took one of his legs out. That's what happened. He used the Force and pulled one of the bolts out of his legs, and it knocked him down as he caught it. But it did help save Mando.
Yeah, well, like I said, to me, it's kind of...
But it was cool, though, seeing the Mandalorians, like, struggle to fight this droid. Like, he's throwing everything at him, and Boba Fett's missile missile didn't do shit. I was like, dude.
Well, the Darksaber didn't do shit either.
Yeah, the Darksaber didn't do shit either, and all of his... Of course,
by the way, okay, I can't figure out how to work it, and all of a sudden, now I seem to be having no problem wielding it at all.
Well, he got a couple of swings on it. But then he's like, nope, not working. Because the scene we see him in episode 5, where he's got to take out all these dudes, he's swung it a few times already. He's already like, oh man, and that's when he hits himself in the leg with it.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So that was fun. That was a cool fight. It was just neat little Star Wars. Then we see the mods run off with the townsfolk, and they get cornered, but she takes the high ground, and I guess helps with take out the Pikes and eventually the droid. And then the final showdown with Boba Fett and Cad Bane. And I think it was done well enough. I pretty much knew that, like at the beginning of this episode, that it's going to be Cad Bane's probably going to die in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, "How did you have to die?" Like, how did you not see this coming a mile away?
Yeah, it's either that or where he wasn't just going to walk away and figure, oh, my client is going to lose here. I might as well just skip town. Mm-hmm. And apparently, these two have a history. I've not watched any of the Clone Wars. I don't know how much of that one they have between a young Boba Fett and Cad Bane during the Clone Wars, which would have been a very young Boba Fett. But yeah, that happened, and that was done well enough. And the fact that it knocked Boba's helmet right off. Mm-hmm. So he finally, but got him. So he had to go.
Yeah,
so
I think the complaint I heard was they expected it to be a longer or bigger fight.
No, would have been. It made sense. Just the old West kind of quick showdown.
Yep.
We know Filoni likes the old spaghetti westerns.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it was. So fine, Cad Bane killed by Boba Fett. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Anyway, so then the Mando flies off onto his adventures with Grogu, and Boba Fett is now the daimyo of Tatooine, and
forget the daimyo. I think he pretty much runs Mos Espa at this point.
Yeah, he's the mayor. He's the new mayor in town.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even just...
And speaking of which, that old mayor. Remember that mayor and all those gang leaders that said they would abide and stay neutral?
We're talking about, we're talking about he's running everything.
Yep, he is. And because Fennec Shand assassinated pretty much everybody else. The head of the Pikes who was standing there along with the mayor, the hammerhead mayor. I don't know I forget the name of the dude. And of course, oh gosh, how can we forget Black Kirstan or whatever his name is, the Wookiee, got his ass kicked. But he got
by Trandoshans again.
By Trandoshans need I say more? But,
of all things, yeah.
Yeah. But yep, we talked about the Trandoshans. You talked to me about that a couple weeks ago with the lizard people. But nope. But the Wookiee dude, and those two poor Gamorrean guards, they got pushed off a cliff. Oh well. Are they safe? Are they all right? No, they're not. Those two, the memorial for the two Gamorrean guards. We knew, because somehow I knew they weren't going to make it to the end of this season. But I thought for sure that the Wookiee would have died, but nope. He's too stubborn to die, apparently. But so. Yeah, that's where they leave Boba Fett. And I'm like, okay. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was all right. Can't say I was wowed by it, but it happened. So, what are your final thoughts on the season?
I
loved it, liked it, hated it, indifferent.
I mean, it is what it.
Yeah.
I mean, it did what it. I feel like it was just part of a bigger storyline.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't give Boba Fett enough time for him to shine. We got the origin. Of course, that was our gripe with the first two episodes, was that it was too much flashback, not enough going on in the here and now. But we had to fill in those gaps as to how he lost his armor, how he's going to get it back, how he got his ship back, and all that stuff. So, but it was obviously we get two whole episodes without Boba Fett. So calling it the Book of Boba Fett is kind of misleading. I think they could have. I don't know what they would have called it else.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Fight for Tatooine or Boba Fett and the Vengeance of Boba Fett. I don't know, something of Boba Fett.
I don't know. How about the Mandalorians?
Mandalorian, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Mandalorian, Boba Fett and his Mandalorian pal.
Yeah. How about Mando and Friends?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
calling it the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And calling it the Book of Boba Fett, it doesn't seem right calling it that because we had 2 episodes without Boba Fett.
It feels more like it was a pamphlet than the book.
Yeah, it's like a hotel lobby flyer of Boba
Fett. Yeah, seriously. The funny thing is, I don't think we've seen the last of Boba Fett.
No, of course not.
At all in whatever they're creating, but it might be the last of Boba Fett that we see as a series. And I feel like this was a means to, I feel like this was a means to basically give him a little bit of depth, establish him where he is, but really in reality, this is more for something moving forward with the Mandalorian and to move those stories forward again.
Yeah. It comes back to more of the rumors. I know, like, of substantiated rumors, just the same, but still, the rumors that this was originally a movie, not a series, but Disney said make it a series because Mando is, is so successful, and there were rewrites, and obviously they injected 2 full episodes of The Mandalorian into this as filler, it seems like, almost. Or just to help flush out the story. But, yeah, it was okay for me. I don't think it's... I got to talk to a friend. I'm going to see him for game night this weekend. Big Boba Fett fan. I want to get his take on it. Now that the season is over, I want to see what he thinks of it. Has it changed his opinion of Boba Fett as this badass bounty hunter? And now who is, like what Cad Bane said, he gone soft in your old age. Is that okay for Boba Fett? Is that okay for big fans of Boba Fett? I don't know.
It's okay. I think you had to create an evolution to the character somewhere. It's certainly a different evolution than what was the character's evolution in the extended universe before Disney took over, which was... he escapes Sarlacc, and then he essentially continues to be kind of a nemesis for Han Solo even years to come later. Where, they have their feud, kind of like as if it was like Luke and the Emperor or Luke and Vader. You've got Han Solo and Boba Fett.
Right, he wanted a foil for Han Solo.
Right, that kind of thing. And now the way that it's been redone is, okay, I'm my own man.
I'm done doing jobs for idiots.
Right, and in fairness, if he were to cross Han Solo and Chewbacca now, or Luke Skywalker, would he even... I mean, I don't think his opinion of Han Solo is just like, he was just a job. Yeah, in fairness, I mean... Although, we knocked him into the Sarlacc pit, so,
Yeah, I guess fairness, that might have changed his opinion of him.
That might be a little different.
Who's the motherfucker who knocked me into the Sarlacc pit? Oh, it was you. Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. Oh. Yeah.
Although I do laugh because in the end, it wasn't like he did it purposely.
No.
He swung where?
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Where? So, all right, I think we can move on from Boba Fett. We're no more Star Wars for a while, so we'll get to Kenobi, and everyone's all like, "Oh, great, more Tatooine!" Oh, it's like, yep. Well, that's where Obi-Wan is.
So here's the interesting thing about Obi-Wan.
That's a name that I've heard in a long time.
Clearly, not anything having to do with the current storyline.
Nope.
Clearly. I mean,
takes place between episodes 3 and 4.
Right. Has to take place between episodes 3 and 4.
Yep.
I mean,
just watching baby Luke grow up to be a good moisture farmer and a good sharpshooter and a good pilot, apparently.
I mean, the only thing I could come up with that could add backstory is what's her name could be there. Rosario Dawson's character.
Yeah, Ahsoka might show up.
Right, Ahsoka might show up. We've already heard the Hayden Christensen is in it.
Yep. Well, there'll be flashbacks from the Clone Wars leading up to Episode 3, maybe, I presume.
I don't know.
Or if we get a showdown, between Vader and Kenobi.
Right. I haven't heard anything about Ray Park. Could we see, Crimson Dawn show up here and Ray Park show up as Darth Maul?
Right.
That's a possibility
ties
too.
to Solo, and Darth Maul is all, we know Darth Maul's got a hard-on for Kenobi all through the Clone Wars series, so.
Right. So I mean, to me, that's the, that's going to be the most interesting part of. That's going to be the thing that's going to be intriguing is that this is the series. They're now doing a series that doesn't technically fit in with any of the stuff that's going on with all the Mandalorian stuff.
Right.
So this is a separate series at a separate time. Whereas the Ahsoka series could end up being in that time frame, with Mando and all those. Other people.
I wouldn't put it past them if we see not Din Djarin, but if we see someone in a Mandalorian armor show up in at least one episode.
I'm not positive we don't see Grogu.
Yeah, because now we know that Grogu was there at the Jedi Temple when Order 66 came through. So who knows?
I'm not positive that may not be possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about Frank Oz. I mean, maybe they will have. Maybe they do have Yoda show up.
Yeah. A Force. Commute. Yeah, commute with. Well, wait. Well, Yoda's not dead.
No, Yoda's not dead.
Or if we get. I heard some fan theory as to why we don't see a Force ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. But it would be neat that, to have the, even just if it's just a voiceover and just like a voice, that like he's, meditating and he hears Qui-Gon's voice while he's,
I mean, seriously, are we getting the guy who played the Emperor in this thing? Because who's the bad guy here? Obviously it's got to be that guy, right? Or Hayden Christensen, right? I mean, who else could be the bad guys here? I mean, other than Ray Park, maybe possibly as Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, like I said, when we have 3 months now. March, April. We have 3 months now until Kenobi.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and the irony to me is I'm kind of like laughing because it's like, oh, good, Jedi shit again. That was the nice part about Mando and Book of Boba Fett was it wasn't. Yeah, we had some Force stuff, but it wasn't heavy on the Jedi Force shit. It was tempered, and now we're back to Jedi time. Right, great. Over, with their we have codes and laws and other bullshit and all that other shit. Sorry, I'm not a.
You're not a Jedi fan.
No, I think there's a lot of other cool shit in Star Wars besides Jedi.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
That's not true. Although a blaster is helpful. I'm not going to lie. No. I'm not going to lie. Having a good blaster is pretty good.
Do you have a problem with people quoting the Star Wars movies during your Star Wars roleplay?
Nope.
I'd be that guy. I'd be dropping Star Wars once. I know it happens, yeah, but I'd probably be that. I'd be like, Mike, shut up. We know. We've all seen the Star Wars movies. You don't need to quote the lines every 10 minutes.
Are you kidding me? One of my characters is literally a character one of my characters is literally somebody where it's like, what could possibly happen? Shut up. What? What did I say? You want to know better by now. Yeah. You want to know, anytime you say that, it goes poorly. I'm like, what? It doesn't go poorly.
Never use famous last words because they could be.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's like, there are people who play the RPG that I play that any time the words "I've got a plan" usually run for cover.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
So, I guess we can get into news then. We had our Super Bowl. We had our Boba Fett. Nice. We get into news.
Early in the week, we had a Buzz Lightyear trailer.
Yeah, that happened. Of course, obviously, right after we recorded. I think it dropped on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday?
Or Tuesday, something like
usually
that. Yeah.
Right after we record. Usually when it happens. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was the extended trailers, not just the teaser, and that's coming in June, I think. I'm probably
it's funny.
Probably in on that. I'm probably gonna, because I got from my buddy Matt, the Captain America fan, big Toy Story fan, big fan of Woody. So yeah, we are definitely going to see Lightyear.
What I think is funny is there are a lot of people upset about Tim Allen's not going to be the voice, and to me, I can justify him not being the voice because that's the toy.
Yeah, it's the toy caricature of this super duper action hero.
Right. And this
I get the distinction.
Right, there is a distinction, and there's some people who aren't making that distinction at all.
You're right. And people it's Buzz Lightyear, it should be Tim Allen. But I think it was like they did an animated cartoon afterwards where I think it was Patrick Warburton, who was the voice of Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did do an animated cartoon. But,
it's the guy who's, the guy in the Family Guy there.
Right, or what's his name? The guy in... He's the guy in Emperor's New Groove who plays Kronk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
The guy who's like, I speak squirrel.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I've seen bits and pieces. That was with James...
with David Spade.
David Spade, yeah, as the...
And John Goodman.
Yeah, and they got turned into animals, yeah.
Yeah, no, David Spade gets turned into an animal.
Yeah,
John Goodman doesn't.
Like a llama or something.
I got an Eartha Kitt's in there. That, if you've never seen it in full, is a great movie.
Okay.
That is a Disney movie.
Is that on Disney Plus? I presume it is.
Oh God, it better be.
Let me check. About this Lightyear trailer we saw, it looks good. I'm totally in on it. I was sold from the teaser. Like I'm all in. So I'm all in.
We got more details on the X-Men 97 thing. Apparently, it picks up right after the origin of the series finale. I don't remember that there was a series finale. Forgive me, I just wasn't.
Oh, the Emperor's New Groove is on Disney Plus.
Is it?
That's from 2000.
I may have to watch it.
It's from 22 years ago.
I've
only seen it in bits and pieces. I've never watched it in its entirety. I think I need to watch that. Of course, it's on my to-do list along with Shang-Chi and the Eternals.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let me know. Yeah, if you're
let me know when I get around to it. Right.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, so I'm like, you were saying.
Really, but yeah, no, that is okay. I know I can talk about Emperor's New Groove. I mean, if anything, my favorite. You asked me about things that get quoted at RPG tables. That'll get quoted at RPG tables. It's like, why didn't he even have that lever? Stuff like that. Like other movies get quoted at those tables too. It's like that one scene where there's a couple of great. There's some really. I'm sorry, that's just one of those movies. It's really funny. Mm-hmm. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. In the Disney catalog of movies, that's one of those ones where it's like, it never gets.
It's zany. It's irreverent. It's got a lot of good lines. Got a lot of memorable puns.
And Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is in it.
Tom Jones sings the theme song at the beginning. It's
great. I need to watch this now.
What's his name? Cusco. It's great. Oh no! Like I said, it's an Eartha Kitt. So it's and the bad guys are Eartha Kitt with Patrick Warburton, and Warburton's playing her like hench person.
Oh, right.
And it's just, she's like, Crunk, why? You get the, I mean, it's Eartha Kitt doing Eartha Kitt playing to play a bad guy, and Patrick Warburton playing the dumbass sidekick, and it's like, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's like, and John Goodman, I don't know how John Goodman played the role he played, and it did be like, hey, this isn't fair. I have to play the straight. I have to play the straight man for pretty much everybody else in this movie.
Yeah, he's Goodman's he's good in every film pretty much he's been in. So.
No, that's one of those where it's like that movie should have done better. I know there was a cartoon, but there should have been a sequel.
Yeah, they did have a series. I think it's in 2006.
The series wasn't nearly as good.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Lightyear trailer happened, and it looks, obviously I'm already sold. I'm in. So.
Yeah. So apparently, this Kraven movie is going to happen, and Russell Crowe is going to be in it, but it doesn't say
whether he's going to be Kraven or not.
Whether he's going to be Kraven.
I presume he would be. I mean, he's Russell freaking Crowe. He's the freaking gladiator.
Why
wouldn't he be?
Well,
maybe he's a little older. Maybe he's going to be like a mentor to Kraven.
Maybe.
Like a predecessor or something.
Yeah, like I said, they don't name him straight out as Kraven, which makes me think they're going with somebody younger.
He'll be Jor-El again.
Something like that, maybe. Oh, God. Don't be that. Yeah, we're gonna get a Spider-Man extended cut version of whatever anyway. All right, so then comes the most controversial story of the week. So, Futurama's coming back to Hulu.
Yay! That's the good news.
That's the good news. And then
good news, everyone.
And then we all noticed that John DiMaggio is not apparently coming back at the moment to play Bender, and they're in the process of trying to cast a new person to play Bender.
No one in Hollywood is going to want that gig.
Well, and so it's come out now and there are enough, John DiMaggio's come out, there's enough people coming out. I mean, my favorite is here's what Futurama used. Here should prove to you the problem of why it's bad that you decided not to do this. On the Futurama page, where it says Futurama returns with new episodes coming to Hulu, there's Bender with a sign that says we're back, baby. Not any other character, Bender.
Yeah, he's the iconic. It's like having Star Trek without Spock.
It's like having Archie, somebody else play Archie Bunker.
Right.
Or Al Bundy. You can't. I mean,
let's have.
So there's been a huge groundswell of
people saying bring back John. Yeah.
Well, not only that, it's okay. There's a couple things. One, people are like, I'm not watching it. My reaction is I'm not watching it. Although I gotta say, ever since they brought back Futurama after the first.
Yeah, when it was initially canceled, I've been back and forth in and out. It was on Adult Swim religiously for a while, but there's so many episodes and mini episodes I missed.
Well, so there was a period what they would do is they would create the episodes for Comedy Central like as if they were creating a bigger giant movie, and then they would chop them into half-hour pieces, and so they didn't stand alone. And so it was like, okay, these episodes don't stand alone. They're not nearly as interesting. Whereas like the original episodes, like they told the story, but they stood on their own as their own episodes and had interesting stuff that would happen.
Oh, they were part of a larger arc?
Right.
Oh, okay. That
like
sucked.
The whole, like they'd be like, okay, they did like a 2-hour movie, and then they would cut them down into
4 30-minute episodes. Oh, that's dumb.
Right, exactly. And it was just like, it was just ridiculous and silly.
And a show like Futurama is better in 30-minute digestible bits. I don't think I could sit through a 2-hour Futurama movie.
Well, but they didn't. So what they did was basically they had it as a DVD.
Yeah, that was better.
So you would buy it. So you would buy it as a 2-hour DVD.
Right.
But then on TV they would break them into 30-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's like, the problem is, it was still 4 30-minute episodes with one big arc versus if you caught one out of sequence, you couldn't exactly watch it.
You wouldn't know what was going on, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
it really is funny.
I saw a graphic on Facebook. Somebody posted this, the timeline of when like Futurama was canceled and revived like 3 or 4 times or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm gonna watch Futurama if it's available to me. I might, but
it's
never.
gonna be on Hulu. But I gotta be again. If John DiMaggio isn't playing Bender, I'm not interested.
I mean, well, Billy West and all the rest of them, I presume Maurice LaMarche and
they're all back. But
and
again,
Katie Seagal.
But to me, that's not good enough.
No.
To me, that's not enough. If you're,
who's it? Lamar, I think was his name. Patrick Lamar. Who was
I don't know.
Hermes, and he was he's done other bit voices, but he was anyway. Without like I said, without John DiMaggio as Bender, I don't think.
Well, and it's interesting. It's interesting too because now that it's come out, there are people who are like, I don't think so, not taking the job.
No, there's going to be a lot of people there, and that's I've listened to a few podcasts with what's his name, Rob Paulson, who was from Animaniacs, and there's obviously he was in The Tick and has done other stuff, and he said there's you don't want to be the guy who replaces someone that iconic.
Right. Well, the other thing is that's getting out there is. This is a common thing sometimes in voiceover acting versus regular acting, where they feel like these people are more replaceable, and so they don't get paid like they should, even though they're established people and they have established these characters.
Could you imagine if they replaced the voice actress who was Bart Simpson 10 years in? No.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the point being is. I'm sure there's certain people who will sit there and go, well, everybody else in the cast seemed to be fine with what they signed. And that may be true, but, again, then, but you're taking it, you shouldn't have taken the risk without talking to John DiMaggio to make sure you had him on board. Or at that point, you should have had somebody lined up who said, okay, that you could lock into a contract. And I don't like this, but at least you'd had somebody locked into a contract that they couldn't sit there and turn around and go, no, I don't think so. And be like, hey, buddy, you're in a contract. There's nothing you can do. So it'll be, like you say, I'll be curious to see if they get anybody to, do you really want to be the guy that, I'll tell you now, if you're the person who takes that gig, you better get off social media.
Yeah, you better delete your.
You pretty much better get off social media
because you're not going to live up to that standard. You're going to be scrutinized all to hell. Saying there are people who do like script readings at cons who would be like, I could do a better Bender than that guy. Not just saying, but I mean, you're going to get held to a different standard, and you're going to be the imposter. You're going to be the traitor. You will not be very well liked.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the bigger thing is it's like, you hear about this stuff about like what happened to like the person who played like Rose Tiku and all those other people. It's like, imagine being the person who replaces John DiMaggio as Bender. Yeah, you better get off.
Yeah.
You better get off Twitter. You better get off Facebook. You better get off everything.
Yeah.
You better not be reachable. I'm trying to think. So the other kind of interesting news of the week is apparently people started seeing on their Netflix accounts that it looks like you only have until March 1st to watch all of the Marvel shows that are on Netflix, and then they're going to be gone. Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to find a place on Hulu. They're obviously too adult for Disney Plus, but that's under Marvel's umbrella, and I presume that's only how long they were under contract with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Defenders are going to be the Degonders. See, that was what I did there.
Well, like I said, the real question to me is, there's a part of me where I just always assumed that even if they got the rights back, Netflix, because they were involved in making those shows,
right,
would continue to be able to air those shows. Now, apparently, those shows, I don't know what happens to them.
Yeah,
I don't know if
whether
they just disappear,
whether they're gonna or they'll be. You just wait for the DVD or wait for the.
I don't know.
Hope you got them on your DVR. I don't know.
Right. Well, the thing is you couldn't put them in your DVR either. How
That's
would
right,
you do
because
that?
it was Netflix. That's right.
Because it's Netflix. So really,
just to find torrent files on.
Right.
The internet.
To me, that's the real interesting question: is what happens?
Where do they go?
Right. Where, or do they just vet? Congratulations. This could be the new, the new bootleg thing that you find at cons, which is, hey, we've got all the episodes of Luke Cage, the 2 seasons of Jessica Jones, the 2 seasons of Punisher, and you can buy them all on this flash drive for, I don't know, $20.
Right.
That could be the new thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. So
the Marvel Netflix shows, we don't know where they're going to have a home after this.
No, we don't.
Well.
We do know that apparently Blade Runner has a new home. Ridley Scott is going to basically be doing a sequel series at Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I watched that sequel with Ryan. Was it Ryan Gosling? Is that who's in it? Yeah, I watched that when friends and I went to DairyCon last year, and of course I was half in the bag when I watched it, but it was a trip. That was a trip. I mean, it was weird. I never watched all of the original Blade Runner. I've got the DVD in this house somewhere. I just never bothered to watch it. It's just, the dystopian sci-fi stuff I'm not a big fan of. But I did watch the new Blade Runner, and that was weird. And this one, I guess, takes place like years and years after this movie, so it's going to be even more dystopian. But hopefully, maybe less. Who knows? But yeah, okay, sure. That's one thing I didn't know that. I was watching found this YouTube video, but one thing I didn't know that Edward James Olmos, before he became Commander Adama in the new Battlestar Galactica, it was either Harv Bennett or Leonard Nimoy wanted him to play Commander Krug in Star Trek 3. But Edward James Olmos was known for his role in Blade Runner at the time. More best known for that, because it was before he did the Jaime Escalante movie where he was the teacher.
What is this calculus?
A negative times a negative equals a positive.
But what's a calculus?
But it was interesting. It was also a quick little tidbit. Anyway, yeah, sure. Blade Runner series. I'm like, it's not for me. I'm probably not going to watch it, but it's cool that it's getting new life on streaming service in a series form. So
Jean-Claude Van Damme is doing one final movie, and apparently it includes rematches with iconic opponents throughout his career.
Oh God.
We're
into the VanDamme-iverse.
Hey. You know what? It's interesting. I read a little bit about it. God. You know what? If it's free at some point, then I can watch it. I might. It's enough of. I'm curious enough to want to be curious to see what it looks like.
I've not in my life. I've not been able to sit through an entire Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
I have.
Okay. Well, good
the
for
earlier ones were not so bad. Yeah. The ones later on,
they got a little cheesy, right?
When he went from being an A-lister to being like
it's like I'm just paying rent this month.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We lost Ivan Reitman.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Now I need to go watch Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Now I knew at the first of the month it was available for rental or digital download because I didn't want to pay $20 to own the film, and it was available for rental after February 1st. So now I'm going to watch Afterlife. That is on the top of my list of things that I should watch. So, yeah, but now with the passing of Ivan Reitman, he did Stripes, he did Twins, so many good movies.
Meatballs.
Yep. Oh God, yeah. That was integral. I remember watching that 1 billion times that one summer when it was on TV. It just doesn't matter. That's right.
Man, that was like integral for every summer camp.
Love Stripes. I've seen Stripes 1 million times. But yeah,
that mud wrestling scene was pretty much like a rite of passage for some kids.
That was a hard R for its time.
Yeah. So apparently the guy who's writing Black Adam is working on a Wonder Twins live action.
Is Gleek going to be CG like Rocket Raccoon?
I don't know.
No, we don't need a fucking Wonder Twins. Unless they go like super hardcore. Dude, come on. Dude makes water. All the dude just does is she does animals and he becomes water or ice or some shit.
Shape of an ice.
Shape of a bucket of water, and then she carries him into battle.
An ice dildo or something like that.
Or like there's one episode of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, where Wonder Woman was taking a bath. Yes, Wonder Woman, where Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, where Zan, that's the male Wonder Twin, was the bath water when Wonder Woman was taking a bath.
Nice.
That's
right up there with the. That's right up there with that one issue of Justice League, where she's about to get naked and she basically is like sitting in the room talking and going, "If you see it, but I absolutely slaughter you. Is it really going to be worth it?" And then Plastic Man like makes himself out of the shape that was like the picture, and he kind of like slinks out of the room, which is absolutely hysterical.
So yeah, Wonder Twins movie. No.
So speaking of things that, all right. So before we get to the quick Oscar stuff, remember how I said to you, I didn't give a shit about the Gotham Knights thing that was getting that was getting greenlit, and I said to you, there's only one thing that could possibly get me to watch this fucking show.
Yep, it's Nightwing.
Guess who the fuck they're fucking using?
Nightwing! Ding, 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 ding! Winner,
God
chicken dinner, Jeff. Congratulations.
God fucking damn it.
They can't do any worse than how dirty he did him in Titans. You'll watch it.
This is gonna be worse. No, this is gonna be worse.
Can't be that bad.
This is going to be... Oh, it's CW. Have you seen the CW lately?
Oh, this is not going to be on CW, not on...
Oh, this is going to be bad.
Oh.
This is going to be bad.
My deepest condolences to you, Jeff, and your favorite character.
Well, like, this is bullshit. It's like... and the worst part is it's like... I'm like, just sit there and like, make somebody up. Make it Batwing. Make it like the guy who's the... I can't remember the guy's name. The black guy who's playing the new character that's out there, I think it's Batwing or something like that, or go make it Damian Wayne or some shit like that. And I'm like, or make one up. They do all this other shit all the other time. It's like this time it's like, oh no, we're gonna use Dick Grayson. Fuck you, just fuck you. Fuck you guys. I mean seriously, it's like, oh now you're gonna give me. Now,
because Batman is movie material, so Robin is TV material, pretty much.
Right, but the part I laugh about is it's like, okay, you have a bunch of other Robins. You've decided that this is the Robin. It's like he couldn't be on anything else over the years. No. Like when I wanted him to be on the CW-verse. No. Huh. Now that he's going to be on, now that the CW-verse is shitty, now we can put Dick Grayson on a shitty show. It's like, God damn it.
Okay.
This is just ridiculous.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I'm crossing my fingers that it's really not him.
Low expectations. That's all I can do. Man. That's all I can do.
This is what happens when you have a character that is your favorite character that isn't like one of like the problem is, here's the part I laugh about. It's like, who isn't one of the top guys? No. He's like one of the original fucking characters. What are you talking about?
Well, I'd call him a DC B-lister. I mean, he's not Clark Kent. He's not Bruce Wayne. He's in the second row.
No,
he's quite visible.
Technically, he's not. No, not technically. He's not in the second row at all.
No.
I mean, Dick Grayson was right there at the beginning. The reason why he's not at the beginning, he's not there at the moment, is because his name isn't Robin anymore.
Right.
That's the only difference. Otherwise, he's the same character that's been around as long as Batman has been around. Batman and Superman.
Nearly as long as Batman.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
So a couple other things we'll talk. We'll finish out here, which is so the Oscars are naming 3 people to be their hosts.
Okay.
Amanda Schumer, Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and that's nice. But so here's the even more fun. The Oscars have decided that they're going to recognize one fan favorite film that they're going to have the public vote on to determine their best movie of 2021. And
didn't they do that with Black Panther?
Did they? I have no idea.
What was the deal with Black Panther? They gave Black Panther an Oscar because of Chadwick
No, they
Boseman.
gave it a nomination.
They gave it a nomination. Okay, who is nominated?
They gave it a nomination. They gave it a They nominated it for Best Picture.
Okay.
But this goes to the larger event that I have, which is the only reason they're making, first of all, the only reason they're making this award is because, quite frankly, otherwise people are not going to watch this fucking show.
No, because no one really saw these Oscar films.
Yeah, well, okay. There's some exceptions to that, but yeah, for the most part.
But usually the big tentpole films just win technical awards.
Right. And, in fairness, it's funny because everybody's been talking about Power of the Dog. The irony is Dune has 10 nominations, which I was really surprised about. I was surprised that Dune is, like even in there. I'm like, wow, really?
Well, it was pretty artsy-fartsy.
I guess. I didn't think I'd expect Dune to get it. And the whatchamacallit, the Adam McKay movie, the Don't Look Up thing is in there too.
Oh, okay. The ensemble cast movie.
Yeah, from Netflix, which I enjoyed, but I understand why some people would be like, no, But the point being is, so you've developed this category because
of fan favorite, because they know that the Oscars are picked by a bunch of old white dudes.
It's not even old white dudes. It's also gotten to the point where it's like some of the stuff that's there,
these boring, pretentious, artsy-fartsy films that nobody watches.
It's like Belfast and Licorice Pizza and all this other
Licorice Pizza.
Well, that's one.
I know that's the name of one of the films that's up. Yeah,
right. That's one of the names of one of the films.
Yeah.
Look, I saw Power of the Dog. Fucking slow as fuck, and literally slow, methodical, boring. That doesn't mean that I don't agree that there is some great acting in it, but by the end I was just like, please God, when will it stop? When does this movie end? Because I'm dying here. I'm absolutely dying watching this thing, hoping that it ends soon, because this is taking fucking forever. But I get why certain people were nominated for it. I don't know that I would have given it a, for me, watch, it'll win Best Picture, and it'll be like that movie, the Korean movie that everybody loved, that I was like, this fucking sucks. That Ivan watched, he was like, oh, it was good. I'm like, no, it's not. That I can't remember the name of it at all.
Well, the fact that they want eyeballs on the show, and
right.
Without a single, they can't get one person to host the show. They can't find one person to host this show by themselves.
Well, so it goes, and then this goes to this, which is, okay, so you pick 3 hosts, and 2 of them are women of color, and the other is obviously a white woman of Jewish descent. And how do I say this? See, this is the problem. Then you got woke Hollywood, that it's like, man, you got to check all these boxes where it gets ridiculous after a while. And they're gonna, look at what happened with Kevin Hart. which is Kevin Hart was supposed to do it, and
then they dug up 10-year-old tweets, and so they fired him.
I mean, literally, it's like, you think you're going to get that gig, you practically need to, like, tell some people, you need to, like, hire a PR firm and be like, hey, do me a favor, like, scrub anything out of my Twitter that looks like it might get me in trouble.
Yeah.
Anything at all. Find them and just
Well, Amy Schumer, and she's a stand-up comedian. She's said a lot, and she's said some raunchy shit. But because she's
Wanda Sykes has said some
Wanda Sykes,
shit too.
True that. Anyway, but
the point being is, and it's funny because to me, one of the things that I want to be clear, they may be very good, and it could work out just fine. What I am going to find funny is when the numbers don't come in, and there's the usual, the usual comments from certain people about, Hollywood and some of the things they're saying and all that stuff like that. It's not just that. It's a 4-hour.
Yeah, it's a bunch of mega celebrities in these beautiful gowns and expensive sets and a big ballroom, and they're all just patting each other on the back for 3 hours.
Yeah,
and it's just a disconnect between, Joe Sixpack on the TV,
Well, and P.S., none of the movies that Joe Sixpack watched this year
are going to be nominated for Best Picture.
Well, I mean, or rarely going to be nominated for Best Picture.
Right.
I mean, the nice part about Netflix is, Power of the Dog is there. Don't Look Up is there. Obviously they probably saw Dune because it was on HBO Max if they got a chance. Some of the other ones, not really that out there or available to see or, out there for accessibility. And so, I mean, and my favorite part is, this is even funnier is, and who will they go get? Who will they go get to be on stage to give out these awards and do all the stuff? All the people who are in stuff like Marvel movies and like superhero movies and Jurassic Park movies and all those types of movies. Why? Because that's the shit that people are watching.
Yeah.
That's the shit people are watching, and those people might draw people to watch. But again, none of this shit's, and I want to be clear, which is, I'm all for good drama, but some of this stuff is like, I get to, like, my mom loves watching some of these movies. She really does. And there's times where I'm like, God, I don't even want to watch this shit. And you know me, like, I like a good drama, and I like stuff that'll make me think and stuff. But some of like these movies, it's just like, okay, I don't want to think this hard. I don't want to have to think. I don't want it to be this hard, and you're making it way
just
too hard.
Just entertain me, please. Don't make
I'd
me
like a little bit more
things
entertainment.
And stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'd like a little bit more entertainment value.
I want things that explode.
I don't even think they explode. I just need, stuff where it's like, at the end, it's like, does it have to have some symbolism that has deeper meaning for it to be a Best Picture movie all the time? No. Seriously? All the time? No. I mean, again, that's the problem is what's getting...
Well, that's been this way for a while now.
Right, well, and that's the thing. The gap, here's the thing. The gap has widened. It's always been there, but the gap has widened more than it's ever widened before.
And how many, have we listed, do we know how many nominations? Like the Oscar nominations are out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like me to go pull them up?
No, we're not going to run through those. But I mean, how many, you said Spider-Man has 0? Spider-Man.
I think they have
No Way Home.
Special.
Yeah, 1 or 2 technical. Okay.
They have some technical stuff, but otherwise, nothing.
Okay. All right. I don't. Then I'm probably not going to watch. So be it.
Well, I mean, just so you have an idea, again. So here, Ready? Best Picture. Oh, here we go. Hey, my brothers. Here's Ivan. Here, my brothers. I'm sorry I totally forgot about the show tonight. I was taking care of... Oh, okay, never mind. We're not going to talk about this here.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about this here.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. But he's excused.
Yep. Nope. Never mind.
Okay.
I was waiting for something else. That's different. Never mind.
Yeah.
But, like, here, I'll read these off to you. Tell me if you've ever heard of them. Belfast.
Heard of it, but I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, don't know much about it. Something called Coda. Don't know. Don't have a clue.
I saw a trailer for it, I think.
All right. Don't Look Up. Yes, I watched that.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, I know that.
Drive My Car. Don't know that.
I know the Beatles song, but I don't know anything.
All right. Dune. Okay.
I'm a nerd. I heard of Dune.
Yeah. King Richard. I did see King Richard. That's the movie about Venus and whatchamacallit. It's about their dad. That was Will Smith. That wasn't bad. Licorice Pizza.
Saw a trailer. Saw a commercial for it, but no.
Something called Nightmare Alley. Apparently, it's Guillermo del Toro and Bradley Cooper. So
I have family members who watched that, and they said it was pretty scary, pretty dark.
Okay. Power of the Dog. Did see it.
Yep.
Want my 2 hours of life back. West Side Story will be on. Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that'll be on Disney Plus next month, so I'll watch it. Then.
On March 2nd. So there's that. So those are the movies. In fairness, I'm looking at like some of the things for like Best Actress, Best Director. Like it's funny because being the Ricardos did not make Best Picture, and it shouldn't. It wasn't good enough. But like for example, I have seen some of these. Like, you know, it's funny. Pretty much all of the almost all the cast except for the person who played Ethel Mertz got nominated for
Best Actor,
actress, all that
supporting
all
actor.
that stuff.
Right.
So there is some star power that way. Like it's funny. I look at Best Actress. It's like here's a perfect example. Okay, here's Best Actress. Best Actress, and I will tell you now, none of them are from movies that were in Best Picture. Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Stewart. None of them were movies that were nominated for Best Picture. None.
So it's just based on performances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And by the way, Nicole Kidman should get it. Now, in fairness, I haven't seen the others, but Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball was phenomenal.
Okay.
I mean, she was really good. Now, here's where it changes. Like Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of a Dog. He probably will get it. Although it's funny. Like, I'm looking at this category. There's only one person I haven't seen a performance from for Best Actor. And it was Denzel. But, see, this is what's interesting. Best Actor, Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Will Smith, Denzel Washington. It's very strange because it's like, I look at the list of names in some of these categories underneath the Best Picture. Okay, here's the star power. But not in the actual pictures themselves, if you understand.
Yeah, it's just the performances, right.
It's just the performances.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's kind of weird. It's like they even admit they're like, yeah, these were good movies, but hey, you know what? Not necessarily. You know, some of them weren't exactly great acting jobs. Although I do see like the stuff for Power of the Dog and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. As I said, but that's what I'm talking about. Is it's like.
So, were you going to watch the Oscars? Based on this list, you're going to watch the Oscars?
Probably not.
No, me neither.
Probably not. If I got better things to do that night, I will do them. I mean, there's certainly. I mean, it's funny because, like I said, I've seen like for Best Actor, I've seen 4 out of the 5, and I will tell you now, of the 4 of the 5, I didn't see Denzel, but I have a guess based on the other 4 that without even thinking about it, I would say it's probably going to be Benedict Cumberbatch. Because his performance was spectacular. Although,
he's a good actor.
I will tell you, Javier Bardem was very, very good as Ricky Ricardo and was impressive. But I don't think he'll beat out Benedict Cumberbatch because I thought he did. He really light. So it'll be an interesting spring for Benedict Cumberbatch because he'll literally go from here's my Oscar to here's my multi-million-dollar Marvel movie.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of weird, Mike. It's almost kind of like, hey, win an Oscar. Now go make a whole bunch of money doing superhero movies that, supposedly, everybody hates.
Or supposedly the Hollywood elites hate.
Yeah. And by the way, again, this is in P.S. The Hollywood elites, who P.S. are all the people who love the Oscars and talk about the Oscars and fawn over it, and probably are half the people who voted for this shit.
Yeah. And
literally, this is where the disconnect is.
Some people never leave high school.
But here's the thing. It's gotten worse over the last.
Yeah, yes, it has.
Like
you said, the gap has widened. You're right.
The gap is, because it's always been there. I mean, we can talk about it as far back as when we were kids, when they picked Gandhi over E.T. or the fact that Saving Private Ryan didn't win Best Picture. You know what won Best Picture? Was it something Shakespeare or something or other?
Was that Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one that won Best Picture over freaking Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks tentpole.
Forget tentpole. That's like one of the. I mean, that movie's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that? But again, this is what. The thing is, and it's like, okay, once in a while, all right, fine, they would do that, but every so often. But now that gap is widening so much.
Yeah. Do we have anything else you want to add about the Oscars, or are we?
No, that's kind of where we were at. Other than
Okay. Then that's anything else, or will that'll do for this week?
I think that's it.
I think that's all. So I guess we can put a lid on it, put a cap on it. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. When to get new content here. Follow us on Facebook. That's where we share the articles and memes, and of course, if you want something a little naughty, a little more saucy for Jive and Ivan's Vibe Tribe. That's a little. That's just like what Peter Parker said. It's not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
Ivan spins on. Follow him on Twitch at Java and Ivan. He'll be back next week. Jeff is everywhere at Steinamite Productions. Download the show on usual podcast hosting platforms. Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, anchor.fm/SOTRT for the direct URL link. You want to do super hacksaws and type that in. Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. As I mentioned, Jeff is everywhere at Steinamite Productions. And thanks for everyone who popped in to say hello or even just listen for a second here on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Episode 184. In the can. Kerblam.
2 in the box.
2 in the box. Ready to go.
We be fast.
And they be slow.